Y'all, Arc Raiders cannot have a PvE only server. The amount of comments on like the patch notes, the updates of people just saying, just add a PvE server, just add PvE maps. They don't understand everything that's going on. And I don't understand everything that's going on, but I'm gonna do my best because there's a lot of videos going around talking about the PvP, PvE issue, and I wanna provide maybe a perspective that you haven't heard, or just add some fresh nuance to all of this. And I want to explain the structure of this video. We're going to start conceptual and kind of work our way down to practical. So we're going to talk about the psychological side of things. That's going to be part one. Part two, we're going to talk about some game design elements and some practical game design mechanics. We're actually going to hear from a lead art director himself at Embark Studio that just did an interview very recently and explained everything that I've been saying. So don't listen to me, listen to him later on. Watch the full video, because at the end, we're going to look at your comments, a survey that hundreds of people participated in and dozens of people commented on with their fix for the PvE, PvP issue, heavy quotations. So bear with me, watch till the end, like, subscribe, comment if you want to support the channel. Let's dive into it. Okay, so like I said, let's start big picture and work our way down. So really the psychology behind it, and I am no expert by any means. This is mainly just my observation, and I do actually cite some kind of psychological principles from like Freud that are at play here. The PVEVP elements that we see in extraction shooters and certain survival games, it's really the same thing that gets people kind of hooked on these games. It's uncertainty. Uncertainty is what hooks us to games like Arc Raiders. And y'all, this goes way deeper than just like simple game design. This like goes deep into our psyche. This variable of uncertainty scratches an itch that is so deep within us. It's this fascinating dichotomy we have, right? Like we crave stability and assurance, but like if we get too much of it, a lot of us begin to crave like, I want an anomaly. I want something to change the status quo. I want adventure. And you know, when I was preparing my like outline for this, I thought of the movie The Incredible Life of Walter Mitty. He's like the quintessential like archetype for pencil pushing, predictable, stable job, blah, blah, every single day's the same, predictability. And what you see in the movie, and what you see like myself do if I was in those shoes, like he gets caught in these like adventurous daydreams. He'll like stare off, 1,000-yard stare, and just have these crazy daydreams. And so he kind of lives in this like duality because he has too much routine and too much predictability. He wants kind of the opposite. And you know, me and my bro were like talking about this on one of my streams. Uncertainty is there for both PvP and PvE players.
Yeah, I mean, I get the frustration. It's all about, we said this about certainty or whatever, where it's like, what's fun to me is like, I can go in wanting to do PvP and maybe I can find that. I can go in wanting to do PvE and maybe I can find that. But most of the time I go in and I'm like, well, let's see what happens, and I'll be ready for PvP if it comes my way.
And that is what scratches the itch. Like PvE would not be as exhilarating if you took out the uncertainty. You know, this is actually backed by psychologists. Like, say what you would about Sigmund Freud, he talked a lot about like the constancy principle, which is like this psychoanalytical concept that suggests that the mind strives to maintain a stable and manageable level of internal stimulation. So we get like the balance. So the mind is overwhelmed by stress, too much stimulation, we seek to reduce it. So if I have too much Stella Montis PvP, dude, I am seeking to go damn battlegrounds solo with like free loadout, and I'm just gonna run. But if I get too much of that, then the craving kicks in to where I want mental stimulation now. Like, this is boring. Like, and so I then go craving the opposite kind of adventure and unpredictability. And so we're kind of constantly pinging back and forth between like predictability, unpredictability, and kind of that's exactly why we love the game. And that is the very essence of Arc Raiders. Okay, let's kind of move down to like the game design itself, because we talked about like the psychological principles, but they're like baked in to the game design. The game design is like very complex in the way it was structured to facilitate that kind of psychological uncertainty that we all love and crave, or maybe you hate it and then you're not playing the game anymore, but I love it. And so this isn't just like my observation or opinion. Listen to what the lead art designer at Embark has to say about the thing that makes Arc Raiders what it is. Like, what was the eureka moment for Arc Raiders?
Was there a moment when the game we know today revealed itself to the developer?
It was fairly early on, after the pivot of playing around with these systems, where we could see that shifting the scale, the balance between you almost together overpowering Arc, but seeing that shift into the lethality of Arc, and then introduced to the other players in there, finally striking that balance of friend or foe within anyone you meet against this sort of common enemy. That's, for me, when I felt this really clicked and has something I've not really experienced before. We were hoping that we would strike this balance of having people almost apprehensive on how they're going to interact with other people.
And so even with that being the essence of the game, he also confirms that there is this very complex process that I don't know if this has been confirmed before, if maybe it was confirmed in like a vid doc or an article somewhere else, or maybe in one of the patch updates. But this is the first time I've heard it like from the horse's mouth, that the raid and the servers you get plugged into are actually determined by how violent or passive you play.
Embark has never publicly confirmed this, but Samuelin hinted our suspicions were correct.
It is, without going into sort of excruciating detail, it is...
We'll take the detail.
It is quite complex. So we do analyze behavior and match accordingly. You can't say anymore. No.
So they do have some like soft mechanics to kind of, if you want to be a PvE player, it'll kind of softly maybe guide you there. If you want to be PvP heavy, it'll kind of softly guide you there, but still retaining the uncertainty because you're not always guaranteed it. And so I want to get into like some future updates because everyone keeps saying PvE only maps, PvE only content, and I hope by now you see that is just not viable because PvE only maps or servers, it sounds simple, like it sounds like a good idea on paper of like just give people what they want, everything we've talked about, the essence of the game that the lead art designer talked about. That instantly goes away. It's an entirely different essence of a game, which gets me to the survey. Over 100-something people participated in and dozens of people commented. A lot of people are upset about the PvE state of the game. And I want this game to succeed, y'all. Like, I love this game. Like, I primarily do PvP because I primarily play trios with my brother and nephew. I don't want a chunk of the player base being upset, but I hope y'all see like what I'm saying. I think it's true, and I think a lot of people like are seeing this, that it's not a simple fix. Here's kind of the results of the survey that I had, and maybe I misspoke earlier. I said hundreds, but 128 votes. I like that for my channel size. That's a good sample size for my channel size. To address a bounty system, I don't know how that would work. So I go in and I kill a raider, and so now I've accrued a bounty of some sort. And so whether that diminishes me while I'm in Speranza, and maybe I have to like pay more, and the traders don't like me, so I have to like pay higher costs. I've seen some people say that, and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. But if I have a bounty, then raiders should be able to kill me and like retrieve that bounty, right? I'm like, if that just doesn't increase the PvP levels whatsoever, because now I'm dropping in and wanting to hunt down. I want to be a bounty hunter. We have rat hunters. I want to be a bounty hunter. And so in my opinion, that just kind of like increases PvP. And so maybe again, if you have a better solution for the bounty system, I'd love to hear it in the comments, or I would love to read it in the comments below. 26% of you said PvE only servers and maps. That's like the top comment on all the updates. Again, I think I'm not even going to address that one too much because we've already addressed it. It's going to fracture the player base. It's going to destroy the essence of the game. I don't think so. PvP blackout rotation maps, what I meant there was kind of like how Lush Blooms is on a rotation. So like for the next hour, the only PvP map is Buried City. I think that does the same thing that PvE only servers or maps does, because at that point, it's an only PvE map. And so if you're playing for like 4 hours, and you're a PvE player, you're only going to select those PvE only maps, even if they're rotational and they time out. So I don't think that does it. I still think you lose the essence of the game there. Like, not a PvE event rotations with beefed up arc. I do think add more arc. I do think that could be a potential, adding more arc. I think increasing the arc's sensitivity to raider on raider gunfight could be potential. I still think as a PvEer, you're going to get frustrated, because the most frustrated I've ever been is not being killed by PvP sweats. It's defending myself against PvPs, and then some Rocketeer comes in and just finishes me off, and we're done. And so I'm like, wow, I won the PvP, but now the Rocketeer came in and just blasted me. Or even like a Hornet. Like, those things will shred me if I'm like after a PvP battle. So, but that could be a potential. Longer time to kill, so that whoever shot first meta dot. I mean, like, that's a meta in every game. Like, most likely if you shoot first and you have the jump on someone and you get the first shot in, like, you should have the advantage because you got the first shot in. There's no fixing to do. People will be people. The game itself is fine. That's what I agree with wholeheartedly, but I do want to see if there's any sort of like unique potentials we could have that like would kind of excite both sides of the camp. Match based on aggression, we've already confirmed, that has been confirmed that is actually true and happens. So you want nice servers, be nice. Loot destroyed on death defeats the whole purpose of the game. Rotation, no. Free kits should not be allowed to loot other players. I could see like free kits having some sort of like time limit. I don't know what sort of ramifications that would have, but most of the time I'm running free kits is because I just don't feel like crafting. The bounty idea could work with some testing. Yeah, the bounty idea would be interesting, but I do think it would cater to more PvP. And yeah, I agree. Learn to defend yourself. But y'all, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Appreciate it if you've made it this far to the video. Y'all take care. God bless.